Hello and welcome to the Make Retro Games with Benny channel. This is episode 3 and in this episode we're gonna set up a basic structure for our code and also write some text to a screen. So come along. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to take a short recap on the second episode. That was where we set up a plan for what we're going to create. And the last part in this plan is what you're going to see here. It's some basic structure of the code. And now it's time for us to actually do this in code also. So let's head over to Amos and see if we can accomplish this. So here we are in Amos, and if you have never used it before, it's a little bit different than today's modern IDEs, but I haven't used it that much yet, but I'm getting there. The first thing you'll see is sort of the editor where we're going to create the code for our game. But then we also have something that they call the direct mode. And this is where you can try out stuff. Just write some text on the screen to see, and also to see the memory banks, and also maybe look into different files on your system without sort of interrupting what you're doing in the editor code. So you have the editor and you have the direct mode, and this is the direct mode, and you swap between them like this or with the escape key. And as you see, there are lots of icons here for different stuff, and I will not bore you out with going through all of these. We'll get into them as long as when we start the code, we will sort of, okay, now it's time to do this, then okay, then we'll look into them. I think it's easier than just go through all those in one big episode. Yeah, so what's the first thing we're going to do? Yeah, if you have looked at other similar tutorials where you do a game in Amos, then they pretty much always just write the code in one big shot, like they haven't structured the code in any way. But I don't really like that, because I think it's hard to understand the code if you come back to it at a later moment and you, oh, what's going on here? It's also harder to reuse the code if you haven't structured it in any way, and that goes for every code you write. It doesn't matter if it's for a game or for something else. So we're going to use the structure that I talked about in the previous episode, and the first thing we're going to do is to make something called an init, and we have a game loop, and we have a terminate. In Amos, they use something called procedure to do those sub modules. Sometimes it's called functions in some languages, and sometimes it's called methods, but here it's called procedures. And if you see, I am using an underscore before init. And why do I do that? That's because Amos itself have a lot of commands. I think it's pretty much 700 commands or something. And if you accidentally write something that is a command, like, let me show you, if we type procedure, and I want to have a procedure called screen init, then you see it changes to screen init because there is a command called screen init. So then this will not work. It will say that you have something wrong in your code when you try to run it afterwards. But if you then put an underscore in front of it, then it doesn't matter. Then it works with whatever you type in. So that's a good habit to do that. And now I actually have a problem, and that's my cursor key doesn't work, and it's probably the same for you. And how do I solve this? And why is it like that? It's because it's set up in FS-UAE to use the cursor keys for joystick. If you don't have a joystick connected, then it will occupy those keys, at least on my keyboard. So I can't sort of go back and forth in the code here with my cursor keys. So how do I solve this? Let's press F12 and then go to input options, more, and then you see joystick port here. It says keyboard. That's where it goes wrong. So let's go into that and say no host device. We will not have a joystick at this point, and in our game we will use the mouse as an input device. So then we don't really need a joystick here. And then when you're done with that, press just escape, 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 and you're out of that. And now it should work with the cursor key. Yeah. So let's just try what I said, underscore screen init. And now you see it stays like screen init. So it works. And now screen init is nothing that I want to have at this moment, so I can get rid of that complete line. And to do that, you press Control Y, and it disappears. And after each procedure, or sort of when you are done inside a procedure, you have to put in something called end procedure. So it knows that here this procedure ends. And then we have another one, procedure game loop and proc. And you see, I can write in big letter or small or whatever, capitals or small, but it's going to fix itself when I press enter. And then we have a last one, procedure terminate and proc. Yeah. So we have those three that I started with. And if you want to sort of, now we have just set up those procedures. Nowhere in the code it says to run those procedures. So that's what we need to do in sort of our main code here. And the first thing, it's easy because you just, init, and then game, loop, and terminate. So now it will run the init first, then the game loop, then terminate. But of course we need to do more stuff in init, game loop, and terminate. but this is the first step. So now when we're done with step 1, let's go to step 2 and do more procedures than these. But first, I think it's a good habit to save this file. And if you see on this line, it says new project. It's never saved. We are in edit mode and it's never saved. So there is different ways of saving. One is of course to go to the menu and you right click on the mouse and then you get the menu up here. And you have save here and the save as. And you see also the shortcut here, Amiga plus S. And on my Mac that means command plus S. So I will actually do it that way because I think it's a good habit to do that and do it often. And I have already created a folder here previously called projects. And we also have some other stuff in here that I have created before, but this is the place where we're gonna have all those things. And I will also upload all those code that we create into Git. So I will show that place down in the show notes also. And we're doing episode 3. So here is where we're gonna save our code for now. So let's call it episode 3.amos. And maybe we will have episode 3 so you can follow along. So we have an episode 3.1 and then episode 3.2. Doesn't really mean anything, but it's just so you know that this, if you look back on it and you can sort of follow along what did we do in the first step and the second step and etc. So let's call it like that and press OK. And now you see here episode 3_1.amos. And now if I continue with just command S or Amiga S, then I will of course write over this 3.1 all the time. So I need to remember if I want to have a separation here with 3_2 etc. I need to press Control Shift S. Then I get save as. So now I can save another one here. So let's do that. So we keep the 3.1 here. I don't know if I can do like, let's see if what happens. Yeah, I can do that, and then I can change it to 3.2. So we already have 3.2, even though we haven't done anything in it. So now we have sort of left 3.1 and we're into 3.2. And let's go back to the plan document and see what's the next. Yeah, as you see under init we have other procedures that will be called. So I will create those and I fast forward a little bit so you don't have to see me typing all those things. Okay, So now I have done all those, and you saw, if you followed along, that I speeded up the process by copy-paste a previous procedure I have done, and then I just copy-paste that one and changed the name on the procedure. So how did I do that? I pressed Control on my Mac, and if we want to see it, maybe it's not the same on if you're using Windows, then you need to go to the menu, and if for me menu is pressing the right button on the mouse. It doesn't work for me now. Sometimes it sort of it sort of drops the connection somehow between the Amos and I think it's FS-UAE and the input. So I can't do it, and what I do then is just press F12 and then escape, and then it usually works again. I don't know why it's like that, but you probably will end up with the same thing sometimes. And what I wanted to show you was this block thing you see here. Let's start with block on or off. That's Control B. That's sort of where you start to say that this is part of my block. So I press Control B, and now you see the cursor changes to be sort of marked over, and then I just go down 2 steps with the cursor key, and then I press Control S, and then you see block stored in memory, and then I go to where I want to have it and press Control P for paste, and then it comes up there. Let's see if we want to do undo. It's Control U. This was nothing that I wanted to do really. I was just for showing you. So I don't want to have it. Then Control U. I could not do it because I went up to the menu or something. But then I can use this Control Y again and just delete those 2 lines. Y. Okay, so now we have all these methods or procedures that we saw in here, and those are pretty much the same for all game you're gonna create. So it's something that you can reuse over and over again. Of course, you might not have reset balls or spawn ball here, but the rest is pretty much the same. So I think that's a good way to start. Of course, it's a little bit boring because if you now want to just give me some code so I can do something on the screen, I want to see something. That is pretty much the next step. But first, we're gonna call those newly created procedures from within the init procedure, etc. So let's do that first. Okay. So in init, I want to call the create sprites in bank, and of course I could go down here and I can do Control B and then Shift. If I press Shift at the same time I move my cursor, you see it goes from one word to another word. So then you don't have to sort of go type, press. You can just press Shift, and then it's also possible to go to the end of the line with just one key press. I usually don't use that, so I don't remember where it was, but let's see if we can find it here. Maybe. Maybe somewhere in here. Line start, line end. Control R GT. Right. What's GT then? I don't remember. You can find it out yourself, but I use shift and then it goes as quick as I want to, so it's no problem for me. And then Control S again, so we save it. Go up to the init, press Control P, and now you see it's get a little bit, where does the procedure start and end and so on. So you can then use this, it's sort of a formatter. So it will make a tab for you in front. So you see everything that's in this init procedure will be tabbed in one tab, and that gives a better readout. I usually actually do this also to make it even more readable. But yeah, it's up to you how we want to do that. And then we have the open screens. We do the same thing again. Control B, Shift, and then Control S.
Go up here with mouse, Control P, and then we have reset pause.
Okay, that's what we were about to do in this part, I think. So let's save this. Remember, just Command S or Amiga S, and you will automatically save it. And now we're going to create a new part. So let's do Command Shift S, and we will do a new one. 3. Okay. So I have a number 3, and that's where we're going to do the fun stuff. At least to start doing the fun stuff and actually make something happening on the screen. Okay. We will do a little shortcut here because we really should open screens first and then write some code to one of those screens. But just to get things rolling here, we can skip the part where we open 3 different screens and just use the screen that's always open, namely screen 0. And that's the one that you see behind here. If you go over to direct mode, here you see the orange screen here is actually the screen 0, and that's already open for us, but we will change it later on. But just to make something happen here, and we can start just by see if we can run this code. It will, of course, now just have empty procedures, so nothing will happen, but at least it will run the code. And then you see this little arrow. It's the same one as this one, so it's a little bit, I don't like the symbolic here, because it's totally different thing to use this button compared to this one. But at least this is run your code, or you can also press F1. It's the same thing. And that actually goes for all the ones that appear. So it's F1, F2, F3, F4, etc. But we will use F1 then. And then we run the code and it's done. It's just the last thing that happened was clean up. And now you can see you can go to direct mode with the escape key, or go back to the editor with the return key. So let's go back to the editor. And as I said, I just want to show you something happening here. So in BASIC and also for Amos, you use something called print to write text to the screen. So let's do the classic hello world text, and we just run the code again with F1. Oh, hello world. So now we have something. The first thing that we have created is hello world, and we will not use it later on as it's done here, but at least you can see how it's done with the print. And in Amos, if you just do it like this, then there will be if I do this and then I do another print, my name is Benny, and run it again. It will be on the new line, but I want to have it on the same line. How do I do that? Yeah, let's go back to the editor again. Then you can use semicolon, and I think it will work even if it's not on the same line. Just like this. Let's try it. Yeah, you see, it will be on the same line. And if I want to have a space in between, I can either do like this just, and it will be like that. Or of course I can make it even like here. You have a short cut for print. You can just do that one, and then we do like that, another one like that, and then you see it will translate the question mark to print for me. And then try again. Syntax error, something is wrong. What's wrong? What is wrong? I don't see what's wrong here. Because to me it looks the same as that one. Let's see if this changes. Yeah, now it worked. Strange. Okay, so there you have it. And there are actually two different ways of writing text in Amos. One is this. You can compare it to if you're in a terminal or command line or something. Every text has a space that it's sort of already predefined. So it's the same distance between every letter, and it goes both from right to left and up to down. So you have like a number of letters that is possible to write here, and the number of letters that's possible to write here. So you have sort of a grid where you can type your text. And the other one is more graphical, and then you can, in screen coordinates, position the text exactly where you want it. We will not use that in this game, but just so you know, there are two different ways of writing text. We will just use this simple way. And there is another good command then that's called locate. And locate, okay, now I don't remember exactly how it works, so how could I find out? Let's go to the locate, and either you go to H for help or F5, as I said before, F1, 2, 3, 4, 5, F5, and then it will open the help for locate for me. Okay, it says X and Y, and it's, as I said, character coordinates. It's not pixel coordinates. So let's see if we can go 10 in and 10 down before we write our text. So let's try 10.10, and I think I can do it like that. Press F1. Yeah. So we are 10 down and 10 in. So there we write. And then everything follows along after that. So even though I didn't write locate in front of this line, etc., it's sort of, I have already with this one told it that this is where I want to go from here. But on the other hand, if I do a new print here without having the this semicolon, so you just do like this, testing locate, and then let's press F1 again, and now you see it goes back here in the X coordinate, but it's sort of a new line from this one, so it stays on, it's now on sort of row 11 and column 0. But it's a good command to use to just move around the text in the screen. And just so you know, if you want to have like, okay, yeah, I just want to have one line here. I don't want to have all those other stuff here. So let's remove them with Y, Control Y. And then I want to write this on one line, even though it's two different commands. Then I can have a normal colon. So this is the same thing as doing this. Okay, so let's try that one then. Hello world. Yeah, so it also worked. And then you can sort of combine different commands on one row. It's very convenient also. If it's sort of, you shouldn't do it if it's totally different thing that should happen, but in this case it's for the text to come out on the screen, so it's a very good thing to have it on one line. I think it's more readable, I guess. Okay, so there are lots of more things with the text. Of course, you can change the colors and you can change the background colors. So maybe we should try something for the colors, and that's called paper is the background and pen is the front end or the text color. So let's start with paper. Let's just pick something here. Paper 10, pen 11. I don't know what the colors are for those, but when you have done it like that, after every text after this will have those paper and pen colors. So yeah, you see there was different colors for the background and the front. Of course, I could find out or write a sort of if we had done a for loop here and go through all the colors, I could have sort of written out all the colors, but I don't think it's necessary now. We'll look into more details about the paper and pen later on. Yeah, let's see if there is anything more regarding this we need to go through in this episode. I think there are actually one more good thing. It's called, I think it is C move maybe. Let's press F5, see if that's correct. Moves the text cursor to a new location relative to the current position. Yeah, so I think this is good. It's sort of a relative movement of where you are right at the moment with your text cursor. Could be useful if you sort of don't want to write locate all the time. You know that, yeah, I want to go down from here just one row, and you can use C move. Okay, so let's try C move and go just down one line, or actually go down 5 lines. And in Amos, if you skip, it's this for many commands. If you skip the first, it is actually it was right and I think it was right and up down here or something like that, up down. But if you skip the first one, then it means that keep it as it is. I don't need to change it. And then we want to go down 5, and then we want to print C moved 5 down. Okay, let's see if that worked, and press F1. Yeah, so it's relative to where I am. I went 5 down. I think it will be useful. I will use it later on when we come a little bit further into this. Yeah, I think that's it for this episode. And now I will save also at the 3.3, and so I can put it up to the GitHub also. Okay, well, next time we're going to actually open the screens in a proper manner. So hope to see you then. Bye bye.